First introduced in Generation 2, mail was meant as a novelty way to communicate with friends in the game. Mostly useless otherwise, but can be used in a couple glitches. It is common for many new features to be buggy, and let's just say that the mail in these games like to get glitched. Mailbox glitches are one of the few SRAM glitches in Generation 2, and have the possibility to produce a variety of effects. Today I'll show you how to obtain glitched mail, and some of the effects of viewing it in the PC mailbox. Oh, look at that! We got mail! But let's go check out the mailbox, because as far as I know, it should be empty. So we'll go to Gold's PC and look at the mailbox. I feel like this could be pretty tricky to find if you don't use it regularly. And the first thing you'll notice that we have a lot of mail called green. There's also some that doesn't have any names. And we have a lot more than we should, because you're only allowed to have 10 mail in the mailbox in Generation 2. And you'll see that we're well past that, and that a lot of the mail has glitch names. And it appears that we have reached the end. We're going to open this one that says IR. It just makes me think of infrared. It wasn't anything too special, but you'll notice that it is the flower mail, but in a weird color palette. It's not the usual light green color, but rather kind of purple. It's kind of nice. But now I'm actually going to close out and restart from the top. We're going to look at a few of the different names that we see, the glitch names, which the only difference between them is what the text shows in the mail. They all take the same form of the flower mail with the purple color palette. And I should mention now that this is in gold and silver. Things are different in crystal, which we'll take a look at later in this video. But for now, there's actually a rather interesting and mildly helpful side effect from this glitch mail that we can get. If we withdraw it to the pack, something interesting will happen. I also just want to mention that the message at the bottom is like, what do you want? C mail symbol R bore? But after depositing the 5 glitch mails into the pack, you'll notice here that we have the 00 glitch item, which just takes the form of question mark, and 2 XP share, which is really cool to get 2 of them and just be able to get it from depositing the mail. Keep in mind it's from this corruption, maybe it wouldn't be the same for other ones. But the blank name gave the XP share, and then the greens gave the question mark glitch item, and they do function normally. It's also possible to sell these items for a profit, but you can also just toss them too if you don't want to. Now I'm going to try and take a look at some more of the glitchier glitch mail we have here, and see if we can get a crash, or maybe some cool effect. Let's see. All the different glitch mail and the glitch names remind me so much of Super Glitch, which is a glitch in Generation 1 that can be very dangerous. Thankfully this glitch isn't too bad. It just mostly affects the mailbox, and you can get effects from viewing the mailbox. However, there is a code that can be used to revert the glitched PC mailbox, which I'll show later in this video as well. And well, if you caught that there, that caused an unexpected reset, and if you saw the last video I posted, those will cause a glitch dimension, which is what we have right here with this weird color palette intro. Also in the last video, some commenters mentioned that it looks like Ho-Oh is wearing sunglasses. And all I can think of is Ho-Oh saying, yeah, the game's broken, deal with it. But now that we're here with a glitch dimension, might as well take a quick peek and see what it looks like. Because the first thing you'll notice is that it keeps the gray box color palette, but it doesn't stay like that. Things continue to get more weird. And it even carries over into battle, which we'll take a look at right now. Put simply, just transitions, so like warps and into battle and out of battle, those are corrupted, and the color. Other than that, glitch dimensions don't really do too much. It might also disable mystery gift and other weird effects like that, but nothing dangerous. But let's see what happens when we look at glitch mail while in a glitch dimension, because why not? And the colors are just so silly. It's like they spilled battery acid on the game and it just got stained or something. Let's take a look at the mail called Box 5, because it just seems silly. And what's interesting is the glitch dimension does change the color palette of the mail, so it actually looks kind of cool here. Usually when you just read the mail, it doesn't really do too much. You'll just see a message that's glitched. However, when you try to put mail into the pack, there's actually a good chance that it will crash. Which it did, right there. But now it's time I show you how to do this glitch, and I'll give you a little bit of background on it too. As mentioned, the glitch mail refers to glitchy mail that is found in the player's mailbox after some form of corruption to the SRAM. Probably one of the most consistent ways to obtain glitch mail is using the unknown mode in the Pokédex to view glitch unknown. This can cause unknown SRAM corruption, and as the name implies, it will corrupt the SRAM when viewing the glitch unknown. Glitch unknown can be obtained using the 5 question marks party overloading glitch, which will require 5 Pokemon plus either index 00 or FF. That will need to be at the top of your party, and then a Pokemon in the 5th slot with a particular defense stat. After doing the glitch, that Pokemon's defensive stat will determine what glitch unknown will show up in the unknown mode. And to get the unknown mode, you need to catch at least 3 different unknown and have one of the scientists at the Ruins of Alph upgrade your Pokédex. Once you have the defensive stat you want, and remember, the Pokemon in the 5th slot, go into the PC, move Pokemon without mail, and move 5 Pokemon into the party that now looks empty thanks to either index 00 or FF. After doing all that, open the Pokédex, use select to change the mode, and then go to unknown mode. Once we check out the index 36 or hex 24 unknown, it will crash the game. And this is actually a good learning point. Just because the game crashed and we reset normally doesn't mean the game data wasn't altered. The only way to prevent this is by using save state. But I actually want the game data to be altered, so I'm not going to use the save state and reset normally. You'll see here that the time is messed up and will make us reset it. That happens from time to time. It's not a big deal. It's really annoying, honestly. But now if I go back into the mailbox, we will have a different corruption this time. In my opinion, this one looks kind of silly in the beginning. The whole like the OP. When we open the glitch mail, it looks pretty much the same as before. Just the text is different. So unfortunately I forgot the pack was full when I reset. It was different than my save state. But we'll notice here there's something strange in the background. When I close out, you'll see that we're now in a glitch city. And a lot of things are looking strange, including the walking animation, which is kind of hard to see now that we're stuck. And since I can't really get anywhere, I'm going to reset and try again. I also want to mention that some of the information I mentioned earlier was from the Glitch City wiki, and I'll put a link in the description for that if you want to check it out. This time we're in the Pokemon Center, because I do believe this can be location based. I also took the opportunity to deposit an item, so that way we can withdraw a mail and see what happens. Unfortunately, this one didn't give us anything. That Moo Moo milk was already there. But you'll see once again we got thrown into another glitch city. We're actually able to move around this time, so I try to take the opportunity to leave, but it seems like the warp for the door is no longer there, so we're trapped. I decide to talk to this NPC, and let's just see what it does, because it does something pretty interesting, in my opinion. Yeah, that was odd. It just played like a random cry. Sounded like Electabuzz. And we're stuck here once again. But now I'm going to reset and make a cut to where I used a different glitch unknown. It was technically index 161 or hex A1. I should also mention now that this only works in Pokemon Gold and Silver, not in Crystal. And we'll see the corrupted mailbox actually looks pretty interesting. I'm going to read the glitch mail. I don't actually believe that's required. Just opening the mailbox is enough to cause this really strange effect, which also shows off the weird walking animation. And some of the sprites for NPCs are odd. And even when you talk to them, their text seems like it's fixed and slower than normal. And you'll see down here that some of the NPCs took the sprite of gold, but maintained their own color palette. We're not actually going to battle the best in the basement of the trainer house, but rather we're going to go outside and also notice that the walking animation is fixed, and that I no longer am able to walk through walls or use the running shoes. But now we are going to go into a battle, to be specific a wild battle, because we can get an interesting effect. You'll notice here that the name of the Pidgey is very strange. It's level 0 and it has no HP. The skip loom I have here isn't anything special. It's called N because of the party overloading glitch, but it gives us a waiting effect because this is the forced link battle effect, which definitely looks unnatural. But that is all I'm going to show for this glitch for gold and silver. However, there is still plenty more to show in Crystal, so let's see it now. In Pokemon Crystal, we'll need to use a code in the mail writer to get the glitch mail, since Glitch Unown are not able to corrupt the mailbox, like they did in Pokemon Gold and Silver. This is because Pokemon sprites are no longer stored right before the mail storage in Crystal, rather getting stored in a different place in the additional RAM available in Crystal. And this is why the Glitch Unown can't corrupt the mailbox storage. Anyway, before we get started, I'm going to feature something TimoVM showed me. And to make note here that I put flower mail on Arbok in the second slot of the Pokemon party. And now's a good time to say huge thanks once again to TimoVM for providing the mail writer codes that I'm going to use here. Like Missy No Expert once said, I just want to share a pizza with this guy. And once I execute the mail code I'm putting in, we go back to the held mail on the second Pokemon. We'll notice that it is now the blue sky mail. It is no longer flower mail, and that's what that code does. It can change a Pokemon's held mail. There are also ways to alter the code to change what slot it will affect, and I'll put this code in the description if you'd like to play around with it. There's a portion of the code that will be indicated by XX. It's a variable, and depending on what you put in there, it will change the type of mail you'll get. There's only a few valid ones, but you can get plenty of invalid ones like here, but it just crashed the game. But now it's time to check out the other code that he provided. And this one's going to be a lot more useful than the other one, at least for what we want to do in this video. Here's what it looks like once you put it in the mail writer. Keep in mind this data string I'll put in the description needs to be converted using TimoVM's mail converter. So you might wonder, what the heck did that code just do? It corrupted our mailbox in the PC, so we're going to go check it out. If I remember correctly, the hexadecimal was A1, which is the XX variable, if you will. This looks a bit different than it did in Pokemon Gold and Silver. You'll see here that it's just a bunch of question marks, but eventually once we go further down, we'll see more glitch mail with more interesting names. I just find scrolling through the mailbox so entertaining, all the weird names that show up. There's one right there, BR Trainer. You'll also notice here that the mail itself looks a bit different. It still takes the form of flower mail, but it's a different color. It's like a light blue color. There is one just called 12, and then there's G Silver Cries, but it's actually G Silver Crystal. It just bleeds off to the other side of the screen. Here's something that I found funny. There's a mail called Noctowl, pretty much, and it just says Crystal. But then the mail that's named Eradicate just says Arbok. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest. But once we close out of there, you'll notice that we're in a glitch city. We can access the PC again, but let's get out of here, see if we can go somewhere else. And you'll notice that gold has just ceased to exist, or is invisible, one of the two. But there's another odd side effect that we can experience in this moment. Going to the other route over here, we can see the NPC walking, their animation's strange, and they like switch sprites. And despite not showing up, we still can encounter wild Pokemon. Yay. Nothing special happens in this battle. There is an effect I was kind of looking for in Crystal, however it requires a certain mail type to cause it to happen, and it wasn't working for me. There's a video and more info on that on the Glitch City wiki page for glitch mail. But this is quite odd to say the least. And I do take a moment to check out other NPCs. Not for sure this girl over here walks. And she does, but she doesn't actually change. But the guy up above here does. And the old man in front of the Violet City gym also has a weird walking animation. But now we're going to come back to the Violet City Pokemon Center to check out the mailbox again in the PC, because there is still a huge stack of mail to read. I'm going to speed through the mail that we've already seen, not much of a reason to look at it again. Keep in mind though that a lot of this stuff could be withdrawn to get glitch items perhaps. But eventually we'll start running into mail that have long names, so it's going to require input from the player to keep moving. Oh, and would you look at that? I wonder if it's the same Ralph from the Glitch Unown video. But eventually we'll start getting to mails that have extremely long names, so long where it covers up most of the screen, and it's just really odd to see, honestly. It's kind of a cool effect. I also like how it says brr crystal crystal. For a second there, I swear it said Rocket Jr. And I'm like, do you mean silver? Well, there's QR silver. I thought it was interesting how some of the names like had the text box border in it. It's really strange. And then at the bottom it says all the R's, which is funny. Then we click on this one and it just crashes the game, unfortunately. But now I put a different code in, but mild spoiler alert, it pretty much gives the same effects. But I'm going to get that effect from earlier where gold fell off the face of the earth. Just had to go into the PC real quick to activate the effects. But this time we are going to fly away once we get outside. And that will produce another effect for gold, where it almost somewhat reminds me of LGL's effects in Generation 1, but essentially it just makes our character flash weirdly and look corrupted. And there are more NPCs here that also have a weird walking animation too. I find this guy and big guy combo mildly entertaining. Nobody over here moves around, so no reason to be here. Now, one thing that I actually find really cool about this effect is it makes like the phasing through walls actually look somewhat realistic, like it's almost intended. This old man sprite was actually kind of interesting because all the sprites were like facing the same direction when they flicker, but his was facing downwards. It was kind of strange. And it's kind of interesting to see it sped up when I use the running shoes to move around real quick. Now I came down here thinking that trainers could walk, and I was wrong. I also thought this trainer wasn't available for fighting, but clearly he is for some reason. But it worked out because it made him walk to encounter me, so at least we got to see that. But that is pretty much all I had to show today. Like I mentioned, there was an effect on Crystal that I couldn't get to work, but perhaps I'll show it off another time. Remember, you can find said effect on the Glitch City wiki. And on that note, let me know if there are any effects that you have seen from Mailbox glitches that didn't show up in this video. I'd be interested to hear about those, and even perhaps try a few myself. Huge thanks and appreciation to those who made it this far in the video. If you are interested in seeing the Glitch Unknown video, check it out here, and if you missed out on the Glitch Dimensions video, that will be available here. Once again, huge thanks to TimoVM, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.